Hey, gang, there are so many important issues to discuss in today's political, cultural, and economic climate, and I can't discuss them all here. In fact, YouTube and big tech won't let me talk about it all here. And that's why I have exclusive, uncensored live streams on Monday nights to cover everything. On Monday nights, I share all my thoughts and answer your questions in an in-depth, casual format that prepares you for this upcoming election with the truth. Today, I want to show you a quick clip from a recent stream that I hope will help you think clearly about these important issues, as well as encourage you to join our movement. Join an upcoming exclusive live stream, and I'll answer your questions by clicking the link in the description below and joining our community of courageous patriots building a parallel economy. I look forward to seeing you over there.
Elizabeth Mulgrew says the Dems have crossed the Rubicon with their voter fraud. What is the source of your confidence they can't keep cheating? They have to, or they are history. So is there any way they still could?
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely. So that's a great question, Elizabeth. No, my confidence is in the fact that the patriot movement is growing all over the world. So the wind's at our backs. We're growing. And the Berlin Wall and the Soviet Union prove that if the trajectory is moving in the direction of the people, there's nothing that a bunch of totalitarian dictators can do to stand in our way. We will knock them down. It may not be 2024, but all these polls suggest to me that the trajectory is clearly moving in our direction. Again, it's not just the United States. We're seeing it in Canada with the Million March for Kids. We're seeing it in all throughout Europe, throughout the continent of Europe. We're seeing it in Africa where they're kicking out this Pan-African populism's kicking out their colonialist French past. I mean, we're just seeing it all. We're seeing it with the rise of the BJP in India. We're seeing it all over the world. There's this mass populist movement that's pushing back against this left-wing globalism. So that's what gives me the confidence. And then when I'm seeing big numbers like that, it makes cheating all the harder. I mean, even Carrie Lake was saying that if RFK gets involved and the more third-party candidates get involved, Cornel West, possibly even Joe Manchin, that makes cheating all the harder as well. So no, I'm very excited about the trajectory and the momentum that we're building, but they're going to pull out all the stops to try to stop Trump. Every dishonest, illegal tactic they could possibly imagine, they're going to try to get away with. I just don't think that I don't think the elections have been fortified the way they were in 2020 with the mail-in ballot. I mean, even Wisconsin Supreme Court has basically gotten rid of ballot harvesting, the drop box ballots. Wisconsin has some of the most strict mail-in ballot laws in the nation that were totally broken, completely turned upside down in 2020. They'll be enforced in 2024, at least from what we can see. And Wisconsin's a state that Trump will easily win. Biden is polling abysmally in Wisconsin. Same with Arizona. Same with Georgia. This should not be difficult. And then that's it. He wins the election if he's got those three states. But it looks like he's going to win Pennsylvania. It looks like he's on track to winning Michigan. So it's pretty impressive stuff right now. Again, we're looking at over 312 electoral votes at this point, but they will do everything they possibly can to stop it. So the turnout has to be overwhelming. And these polls suggest, at least at this point, that may indeed be the case.
Well, you mentioned Trudeau earlier, and he actually just released a statement about this. I don't know if you saw. I can play it for you, everyone.
Go right ahead. Let's. Sorry, kid. Our fellow patriots in the Great White North. I'm sorry to disturb your evening tonight, but yes, we will play it. Is this the one on Russian disinformation?
It's upsetting that this happened. The speaker has acknowledged his mistake and has apologized. But this is something that is deeply embarrassing to the Parliament of Canada and, by extension, to all Canadians. I think particularly of Jewish MPs and all members of the Jewish community across the country who are commemorating Yom Kippur today. I think it's going to be really important that all of us push back against Russian propaganda, Russian disinformation, and continue our steadfast and unequivocal support for Ukraine, as we did last week with announcing further measures to stand with Ukraine in Russia's illegal war against it.
So
I just wish he had the blackface on from his younger years. I mean, blackface, brown face, all that.
yes, you brought in the Nazi, and it's the Russian disinformation. Good
It's
job.
the Russian. That's right. Well, what he's getting at there is it's just part and parcel of how what an international relations disaster this was. And does Anne have a question there? What do you think of the heart?
This is exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
What do you think of this, basically? Yeah.
He's done it, gang. I don't know how, but Mike Lindell has done it. He's taken what was already one of the most comfortable pillows on the market, and he made it even better. That's right, My Pillow 2.0 is here. With Mike's new cooling fabric technology combined with his original My Pillow fill, gang, it's truly the most comfortable pillow out there. It's always cool to the touch and provides some of the best neck support I've ever experienced in a pillow, leading to some pretty incredible sleep. For a limited time, Mike is providing over $150 off his new My Pillow if you use code Turley. That's right. MyPillow.com/Turley will get you massive savings on a set of 4 My Pillow 2.0. Mike is he's a true patriot. He's a friend of the show, and he's a bona fide American entrepreneur. It's really a great product, so don't wait. Mike told me these new pillows are selling like hotcakes, and this offer will not last forever. Click on the link in the description below and use code Turley to get your My Pillow 2.0 today.
Yeah, and they're having some issues with India as well. So this fellow's guy by the name of Yaroslav Hunka, it's so the Speaker of the House who presides over the parliamentary proceedings, who you're supposed to address when debating. He's a very amicable fellow, but he decided to recognize this guest that they had, and he was presented as somebody who valiantly fought against the Russians, and people stood up and began to applaud. They gave him a standing ovation twice there, like the stupid, conformist seals that they are. Both parties, keep in mind, again, this is uniparty stuff. Well, all 3 parties in Canada. It turns out he's a Nazi. There's no other way of putting it. He fought for the Waffen SS. He's the guy was an SS Nazi soldier. Who else was fighting against the Russians, 50, 60, 70 years ago, right? So it was a public relations disaster because it's a scene that's being played all over the Russian Federation and all over the Russian sphere in Serbia and the like, as confirmation that the West wants to destroy Russia in a manner comparable to the way the Nazis wanted to destroy Russia. In other words, NATO's proxy war with Russia via Ukraine, which is something that's been planned at least since 1993 with George Soros's essay on NATO and the New World Order, that basically argued that Western nations were too sensitive, Western populations were too sensitive to casualties, but we had all of the technology, weaponry, and intelligence. Whereas Eastern Europeans, their populations, they're cool with casualties. They can handle the mass graves. Russians lost 700,000 people in during World War II. They can handle it. They can handle. Ukrainians can handle. They can handle the terrible casualties. Poles can handle it. Hungarians can handle it. So if we combine NATO technology with, say, Ukrainian troops, the combination of those two could defeat Russia and usher in a fully globalist society. This is basically what Soros has been arguing for 30 years. And so we're seeing an actual full-blown implementation of that. And Russia's just going around saying, you see, they're actually, and again, if you want one of the single most hardcore anti-Nazi societies on the planet, it's Russia, which was invaded by the Nazis. So they call it the Great Patriotic War. It's considered to be Stalin's greatest achievement, was defeating Hitler. And so they're basically, they're running around today showing this video, not having to do anything other than just show the video of the Canadian Parliament giving a standing ovation to a Nazi soldier. And it is a public relations disaster.
They always just blame it on the Russians. They have nothing.
Yeah, and then he's turning around saying, well, don't listen to Russian disinformation. There is no disinformation. You stood up and you're so blinded by this uniparty hatred for the one nation that's standing up against globalism and the technocrats that are and the WEF and the like. You're so blinded by that. You're supporting the Azov regime, which is Nazi. That's the way Russia sees it. Part of their mission in Ukraine, the special military operation, is the denazification of the country. And you just demonstrated Canada's parliament to be a place where Nazi soldiers who fought against Russia are given standing ovations. It couldn't be more of a public relations disaster.
Hillary Clinton was back this week blaming the Russians for her fail in 2016. It's just comical at this point.
It is. It's comical at this point. You have to laugh at them. Now, again, it's hard. It's hard because we're dealing with our nations. You're dealing with you're dealing with lunatics who are running nations that we love. But then again, by the same token, that's also, it puts us in a position to steadfastly oppose this kind of stuff. It's like, if our mothers are alcoholics, we're going to be very upset about that because we love our mothers. And so if our nations have basically gone insane, we're going to be very upset about that because we love our nation. So it's a strange kind of amalgamation of laughing at the clowns that rule a nation that we love.
I hope you enjoyed that clip of my Monday night Insiders Club live stream. Join us live next week by clicking on the link in the description below and joining the coalition of patriots worldwide, building a parallel economy to return to our roots of faith, family, and freedom. Click below right now.